Yo, what's going on, guys? We are gonna do my top 5 fall baits. It is chilly today. It's like 51 and it's blowing 20 to 30 all day. We hit the water yesterday and caught a bunch of fish. You saw those pictures on Instagram. So we're gonna start out with my top 5 baits this time of year. The first one's gonna be a topwater bait. A lot of guys throw walking baits, pencil baits, stuff like that. I've been throwing the popper a ton this fall. This is my popper. This is a Pop 70. Nice loud rattles to it. I usually start out with this in the morning. Water's cooling down. Yesterday was 67. Probably later this week, it'll probably drop down to the low 60s. It's supposed to get down to the 30s at night, the next couple nights. Saturday is supposed to freeze. So with that water cooling down, it's that shad bite. So everything is pretty much close to being a shad. Everything's moving from main lake to the backs of the pockets. Shad are moving back. So I'm going to start out with a topwater bait, be it the popper or a duo pencil 100. Or a Sammy or a Whopper Plopper or something like that, but it's a topwater bait. Second one, this is the bait I used all day yesterday, is the squarebill. This is a 1.5 in my Show Me Shad color. Awesome bait. We had like 27 fish yesterday. Always keep them in the bait sacks to keep the hooks out of my carpet and the boat seats. But as bait number 2, it is a squarebill. I like to throw the 1.5s, my swerves, 2.5s if the shad are a little bit bigger. The lake we fished yesterday, they had a bunch of tiny little thread fins. We didn't see any big gizzards, so I didn't have to throw the bigger 2.5s or the 5.0s, 8.0s, stuff like that. So I kept it really small, so did my buddy. Bait number 3, I've been throwing this bait all year. And it is the Omega Custom Tackle Rapture Bladed Jig. This is the original. You can tell it is just beat-ish. I caught a couple fish on it yesterday as well. This bait right here is my prototype testing bait, and it has caught 317 fish. That is right, 317 fish on this single bait. You can tell by the head, it is completely ground down. Skirt is completely destroyed. I've gone through tons and tons of trailers. This is the Biospawn 4.5-inch plasma tail. This is just straight white color. It's normally a 3/8 size, but it's probably ground down to a quarter. I mean, it is completely destroyed. But this thing hunts crazy. Awesome hookup ratio. It's got a big 5/0 hook to it. But this is my main bait. I mean, I can skip it under docks, skip it under dock lines, trees, overhangs. Awesome bait. I threw the white one yesterday to match the shad. Again, everything's feeding on shad right now. We hit a flat and they were busting shad up. Bait number 4 is going to be my go-to standby. If they aren't killing shad, I'm always throwing a jig. Always throwing a jig. This is just a 1/2 ounce jig. It imitates bluegill, imitates crawfish right now. I always have a jig tied on just because if the bite is slow and there's tons of cover, I like to flip the jig if I can't get them on reaction bites. But the jig is always in my hand through pretty much 365 days out of the year. I'm throwing a jig. It's just my confidence bait. I can skip it really, really well. But last but not least, of course, it's going to be a spinnerbait, much like the chatterbait. It's just a shad imitator. This is the duo cambiospin with a like a mini, I think it's the baby fluke, small fluke. Pretty neat bait here. These are the ones I got from Japan before they came over here, overseas. It's got that soft wire. It collapses. The nice thing is when you cast it, it collapses, so there's no spin to it. And when you're hooking fish, normally what I do is on this bend right here, I will take a piece of wire or a piece of braid and I'll wrap it around so it closes off. I've seen where the line tie will slide up or slide down, And it's kind of a pain because if it slides down past this, you can't get it back over it. You have to retie and cut it. So most of my spinnerbaits I usually wrap, braid, and dip with just a drop or two of super glue so it hardens, so that line tie will not slide down. And on other spinnerbaits that are not soft wire, the blade, the wire tends to bend out when you catch fish and straighten. That prevents it, so you don't lose the weakness in this bend right here. A lot of baits will snap at that bend. But the spinnerbait, trusty fall bait. I mean, most guys throw the spinnerbait this time of year. Awesome bait. But that is it. That is my top 5: spinnerbait, jig, chatterbait, bladed jig, squarebill, and a topwater. Probably this weekend. It's gonna be so cold. It's gonna be winter bait. So we might do a winter bait thing soon. Check us out, guys. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We're reaching like 8,000 followers and stuff on our Facebook page, and we're 20 away or something like that on our Instagram. Give us a thumbs up, guys, and we will talk to you guys later.